Hello and welcome to Restorations by Mike. What we have here is a 1967 289 Ford engine that we are doing our final assembly touches so we can get it ready to put on the engine stand and get it run in. So one thing that I was wanting to do is a lot of people don't understand the importance of valve train geometry, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to, this is a push rod tester, right? It is adjustable. And so this is adjusted out to the stock length, okay? 67 289 was 6.804 inches, right? Top to bottom. All right, so what we've done is, as you can see, I've taken the guide plates out for the simple fact the push rod will not go down between the fingers of the guide plate. So what I did, I found two washers. That's the thickness of our guide plate here. So I just took the guide plate off, put these washers under here. So we're going to put this guy in place. Now, all we've done to this, yes, we've got aluminum heads on it, and we have put a hydraulic roller camshaft in, as you can see right here. But again, anytime you change out the cylinder head, or if you mill the bottom of it off, right, to get a good flat surface, or the block, anytime you affect the valve height, you also affect the push rod angle, right, or the valve geometry. So I'm going to show y'all a simple way to check this, right, and it's very important, and I'll explain that later on. So I'm going to take a little piece of tape here, okay. I'm just going to stick it down on the valve stem there. All right, not doing nothing funny. We're going to take our push rod that we're going to use, and this is a 1.6 roller tip rocker, right? Nothing fancy. Did a little upgrade from the regular stamp steel, where this wheel will roll back and forth instead of just sliding back and forth. And again, you will understand and see that here in a second. So we're going to get our rocker arm in. We are using poly locks. For whatever reason, I got why is this not going? There we go. All right, so we're going to get that down there. We're going to make sure that this is adjusted proper here. Okay, so I've tightened this rocker poly lock or nut to the point where I can spin the push rod tester, but I can't move it up and down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the engine, and we're going to go through valve. We're going to go through the valve up and down, right? Make sure the valve opens. There it's closed. And I'm going to spin it around one more time to get back to top dead center. We'll go through another travel. Okay, and here we are. All right, so now we're simply just going to take this back off. Okay, now if you so we're going to come back here and we're going to look at our tape. All right, if you see right here on the very bottom, that is where the wheel is rolling. Okay, so in the situation that the wheel rolls off the back of the valve stem or the front of the valve stem, right, because the push rod's too short, what's going to happen is the rocker arm can push down on the retainer here, right? If the retainer is pushed down, these keepers, they're pie-shaped, if you will, and they've got locks on the stem of the valve. So if the keepers come out when you push down on this retainer, right, because your push rod is all messed up, then there will be nothing else holding the valve in the head, and when the piston goes down, the valve's going to follow it down inside the cylinder, right? Well, when the piston comes back up, we're going to have problems. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this tape off. I have shortened my valve or my push rod length checker, and I did this yesterday. I have already ordered the push rods, but Casey was coming to work today. She was out babysitting yesterday. I've got some extra hands, so it is very critical, or I thought it would be very important for you DIY people, right, to kind of go over this and show y'all exactly what I'm talking about here. So, the we're just going to put the rocker arm on. We're going to take our poly lock, going to back this out, make sure that it's not going to affect our adjustment. I'm just going to tighten this guy down, and again, we're going to do this by feelings. Yeah, we're going to do it by fingers too. You just want to sit.
Fenders. I was like,
well, maybe fenders too. All right, so all right, we can still up and down. We can twist. All right, this snook, I can barely. We'll just ease it down. We can turn it. I'm gonna run this poly lock down, and so this is, if you've never used poly locks, this is where you would stop the adjustment here, right? You take the wrench and hold this, and you simply install an Allen wrench, and you just tighten that down, right? I can't turn that with my fingers now, and the wrench, you really can't turn that. So this is why I like poly locks. All right, so we're just going to simply rotate the engine. Again, we'll let the valve go through, we'll let it go through its travel. All right, we're just going to stop right there. Now that I've tightened the poly lock down, I've got to have a wrench to back this off with. You can back these off with a wrench, you just can't do it with a finger. And I didn't really put the mojo on them to lock it down. I was just demonstrating how you tighten them. All right, we're going to set that there. Now we're going to look at our tape and our valve stem. So, as you can see, here are my thumbs represent the end of the valve stem, and you can see this little roll mark is right there in the center. All right. So now with this here, we know that our rocker arm roller is right on the very top, right, and it's putting pressure down on the top, not on the edge. What's going to happen if you push down on the edge? I'm sure everybody has experienced trying to push something down on the edge instead of in the center, right? There is friction in it, and it can and probably can do some damage, right? I'm not an engine builder. I am a auto restorator by trade. I know my way around engines enough to be dangerous, but I learned this stuff years ago in my through the racing years. So just wanted to come on and share this knowledge with you. Hope it helped somebody out. And remember, it's if you change heads from a stock head to a aftermarket head, this is crucial. I promise you. Camshafts really not that much, unless I haven't measured the lifter. If you go from like a flat tappet to a roller, I have not measured that. But if you do an upgrade or change that, I highly recommend you going through the push rod length system and just check. It doesn't cost nothing, right? And it could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars down the road, especially if a rocker arm, if you prevent a rocker arm from falling off the stem and causing melee, right? So thank you.
You do not have what you had?
Yeah, if you don't have a push rod checker, bare minimum, I would probably use my stock push rod and do what we did here and just look at it, right? That'll tell you enough. And if it looks like you've got problems, then you could go. You need to do something. You could do different things. You could, if you're a little crafty, if you've got any kind of welding knowledge or whatever, you could use a piece like an all thread or something, weld a nut on the bottom. You can make these, right? You don't have to have this. Uh, it, uh, it is crucial. Just figure out some way. Ask somebody. I don't think you can rent stuff like this at like the big box auto parts stores where they've got the rental programs. But if you have to, you can buy these sets. I think Jeg Summit sells these. They come in a kit with varied lengths. So do yourself a favor. It's better to know, right? It's better to check and know than never check and always wonder, right? Because nobody wants to go through the agony of taking the engine out, going the expense and time of rebuilding, refreshing, whatever your situation is. And especially if you put a nice set of heads on it, the last thing anybody wants is for something to happen because they didn't either they didn't know or didn't know how to check something, right? So anyway, God bless you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you come back and check out some other videos that we've got. So thank you.